easy living sober. Hey, everybody. If you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you're back, good to see you. I'm really excited about today's episode. We have Bill Garnock. Hi, Bill.
Hello, Elizabeth. How we doing?
I'm great. How
Busy.
are
How we doing?
you?
Busy.
I'm doing well. I'm
I'm good. I'm very well myself. I'm absolutely honored to be on your podcast. I've listened before. I've heard people talking about it as well.
Well, thank you. It's so exciting. And I want to give a shout out to our mutual friend, Vanessa Walling, who introduced us. And I think that's pretty awesome. I love Vanessa.
Vanessa's great. She actually is one of our Feragaia's top representatives in the city of Philadelphia. So if you're listening from Philadelphia and you want to learn more about Feragaia, I'm sure I can convince Vanessa to come see you and have a chat.
Okay, that's the first. It's Farraga. It's Faragaia, and that's his drink that he's developed. And I want to go back way back. I want to go back because you grew up in Scotland.
That is correct. I'm actually from a farming family on the east coast of Scotland. Uh, Only 15 minutes away from the famous golf course of St. Andrews and across the sea from Edinburgh. So, 17th generation farmer right here.
Wow. What did your family farm?
We still farm, actually. We still farm barley, wheat, oats. So the bulk of our operation goes to Diageo, the whiskey and gin production, ironically. And then the rest of it goes into your sort of porridge and your what you might have at breakfast, your oatmeal at breakfast. So next time you're having oatmeal and a glass of whiskey at breakfast, you could be having everything from my farm. But
That
I've
is so
diversified recently
cool.
into yeah, yeah.
So you grew up farming with your dad and your grandfather?
Yeah, on the farm operation, it's not a big enough farm that sustains us full time, but we farm all year round. And so I've always grown up with animals, tractors. And what really, I guess, inspired me without realizing was being at the source of where a lot of our food comes from and a lot of our drink comes from. And in Scotland, you don't realize it. And we, as a country, we don't talk about it enough, but Scotland is often the beginning of the supply chain for many global products, whether it's, well, as I mentioned, whether it's Tanqueray, whether it's seafood, whether it's whiskey, whether it's oatmeal. Scotland is very blessed with amazing natural resource, phenomenal sustainable farming practices, and centuries of heritage and history on the land of farming and growing and producing for the people in not only Scotland, the United Kingdom, Europe, and the world to drink, eat, and enjoy. So I'm just honored and delighted that I now have a product which is from this land and now enjoyed across the world. So I'm adding my name to the list of our Scottish exports, which is very exciting.
I absolutely love that. I'm a big fan of Jeremy Clarkson's Farm, that show that he has on, on Prime. My husband and I love it. My dogs love to bark at the animals. But it's so interesting how farming has really been hit recently with all these restrictions and all these parameters that they're putting on you farmers around the world. It's terrible.
It is, and actually one of our big supplier, our partner farms in Perthshire, you know, we they are predominantly a blackcurrant farm, and that's a very big fresh fruit growing part of Scotland. And actually, we come in and pick their byproducts of the blackcurrant leaves. So we are providing supplemental income to these farms by picking leaves of the bushes, which otherwise only go towards our blackcurrant juice. So actually, and that's the great thing is we're not being disruptive to the Scottish farming landscape. We're actually just being assistive. We only farm native botanicals. So on my farm on land which was previously just grazing, we're now growing chamomile, blackcurrant leaf, lemon verbena, bay leaf. We get seaweed from the coast with young partner Scottish companies. So by only growing native botanicals, we're not spraying, we're not intensively overusing the land. It's a very beautiful natural process of harvesting what grows in Scotland already and extracting the flavor through our unique distillation process, bottling it and sending it to beautiful places around the world, including nearly all four corners of America.
It's quite impressive. And I love that it's family owned and it's family operated and that it's actually all organic, which is amazing today. People love that, right? So you grew
Yeah.
up you grew up in Scotland, you worked on you worked a little bit on the farm. Did you get your education over there or did you get it in the US?
I went to America when I was 21 to the University of Alabama, um, which was a 0 to 100 acclimatization process into living in America. But what I learned in Alabama was, we had the best football team in the country, and we still do, arguably. And that instilling that belief that who you are, can be the best, and it doesn't matter where you're from, as long as you work hardest and you work for your team and yourself, and you stick to your guidelines, you trust the process, that you can go far and you can be a champion. So I often think these universities and schools where they have a big sports program are actually overrated a little bit in terms of what they teach their kids as to how much they want to go achieve in life. Because if they've been around a successful program for 4 years, they're going to want to keep having that winning feeling. So I thank Nick Saban actually, and I'll say Roll Tide for the first time on a podcast. But yeah, I went. I also noticed, Elizabeth, that if I was a product in America, how was I going to stay there? Because I was really enjoying it, and I noticed that I saw so many Scottish export products around America. And I sold a Scottish beer in a beer festival in Alabama. I moved to Denver, Colorado, and sold potatoes for the summer for Scotland's biggest potato grower. And then finally, I got my break at what was my favorite single malt whiskey, the Macallan, in New York. And there I tasted the fine, high end, premium side of exports, and sort of fell in love with it. The idea that these small little towns and farms and distilleries around rural Scotland were selling products to the best restaurants and bars around America, commanding high prices, but for a reason. The quality was undeniable, and that really inspired me to how I wanted to the rest of my career to develop. And I'm sure you're going to ask me where the Feragaia idea came about and why I was selling whiskey in Manhattan and gin in Dallas to suddenly selling a product with 0.0% on the front.
I am going to ask you that. That's actually my next question. So 6 years ago, you're sitting in your house or your apartment, wherever you are, and now you've been, selling all these alcohol products, and you decide, why did this happen? How did this happen? Where was it born?
So 6 years ago, I was living in Dallas, and I am very passionate about what I sell. However, my I shoot for the moon, and I know I'm going to miss, and I just hope I land amongst the stars. So I'm always trying to overachieve. But in the world of alcohol, that means I was trying to drink my own sales targets, and I was trying to do whatever it took to hit these lofty numbers, and that was not very good for my health. It meant drinking with trade Monday to Thursday, doing events, going out with bartenders, trying to forge relationships with my favorite accounts, and then seeing my friends Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I was on a 7 day a week drink program, and it wasn't very good for me. And I recognized at the age of 27, I was like, hang on, if this is me feeling a little shaky at 27, where am I going to be when I'm 35, 45? And this is going to be dangerous for my body, my organs and my brain and my wellness and my sanity. I then started to look back east. I felt America taught me a lot. America taught me the fundamentals of the drinks industry, the food and drink, the fast moving consumer goods landscape. I loved America. I love working with Americans, but I felt it was time to put my own name on a product and throw my passion behind something I could, confidently talk about everything from the recipe to the bottle. I then partnered up with actually Vanessa's cousin, Jamie Wild, in the UK, and he was in a similar position, having worked 5 years in spirits companies across the UK himself. So between us, I came with that farming, Scottish origin, that American commercial experience. I partnered up with someone who's had that growing brands in the busy London market, South of England market. Both of us having premium experience, and we agreed that we didn't want to compromise that excitement, that energy we had when we were selling, that top shelf sexy product, but we also wanted to make it contemporary. And I was very much of the belief that, when I was selling products like the Macallan, I never mentioned the alcohol content because that's not why people spend 150 to 300,000 to $5,000 on a bottle. You don't spend $1,000 on a bottle of whiskey because of the 80 proof strength, do you? You buy it because of the heritage, the equipment, the craft, the process, the ingredients, the time, the prestige. And I sort of said, right, let's create that product in the alcohol-free market. Let's have that transparent farm, distillery, bottle, sustainable, exciting, evocative product, which anyone, whether you're 16, are religious, on medication, legally, whatever the reason, there should be a product for everyone to aspire towards, which doesn't have the limitations of ABV or sugar or gluten or whatever else. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that fire and fun into a category which I felt was maybe a bit too functional. And so we got started in 2019, 5 years ago exactly. Sold our first bottle.
That is so exciting. I will be sober 18 years, God willing, in August. And when I quit drinking, there were no options, right? You could have O'Doul's, which was like, I never even, no, 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 no. And now as time has gone on, there's so many more options in the marketplace for people that don't drink. And for whatever reason, as you mentioned, you could be pregnant, you could be on medication, whatever it is, whatever ailment you have, you want to have a different option. And it's so crazy because Gordon Ramsay right now is running a show where he's doing a cook-off kind of. And one of the contestants had to go build a bar. And one of the teams built a bar that only had 2 alcoholic drinks. And the other one had an alcoholic drink and a mocktail, a non-alcoholic drink. And that team did better because they realized that you have to have options today because there are so many people that choose not to drink today. And they need good options like this.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, I think the phrase which will die out eventually is not drinking, because that firstly doesn't make sense.
Exactly. We don't
You
die.
are going, yeah, you are going through the process of drinking in that moment. I would say, are you not indulging in alcohol? Are you not? But for me, I'm not trying to kid anyone on here. I'm not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes, and that means bars, restaurants, customers at home. All I'm doing is extracting lovely, rich flavors from Scotland, from Europe, from North Africa. I'm combining them, I'm blending them, cutting the lovely Scottish spring water, and I'm putting it in a lovely premium bottle and sending it around the world. So if you want a special toast with a special someone or a friend or an end of day experience, but you don't want to get intoxicated or fill yourself with sugar and calories, then grab a bottle of Feragaia. I mean, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, or I'm not trying to, pretend I am who I'm not. All Feragaia is a very, very high quality product from a farm in Scotland, where the founder used to work for the Macallan, so he knows premium. The landscape is surrounded by the world's biggest distilleries, so it's made by people who know the process and aren't compromising, cutting corners, and it's a lovely, authentic, natural product which should sit on every top shelf of every bar in the world, because no doubt if you offer them a premium flavorsome product which doesn't have alcohol in that moment, you will upsell, and not only from a commercial angle but from an enjoyment angle, to all those people who are feeling that's the time for a nice alcohol-free experience. So yeah, I feel there's a lot of noise in this category. There's a lot of claims, a lot of billboards, and a lot of shouting going on. But ultimately, when it comes to not drinking, it has to all be about taste. It has to all be about flavor. It has to all be about enjoyment. Because there isn't that sort of hit of a alcoholic impact or sugary high or caffeine moment. It's just taste, it's flavor, and it's enjoyment. And Feragaia, I think, brings all of that to your bar, house, table, restaurant, or hotel, etc.
Well, for me personally, I have always been someone that wants to have more variety presented to me. So when I go to a restaurant or I'm even invited to a wedding, or I'm invited to a dinner party. And I show up and there is no option for me but water from the spigot or a Coca-Cola, which I don't drink sugary drinks like that. I'm kind of
Yeah.
bummed. I'm like, what's going on? Wait a minute. You know, we don't drink. You don't want to get us an option that's really good for us to have at this party, because the whole thing is about being festive. And at least I want to be inclusive to everyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, there is, and I think it's slightly the market's fault. Slightly is the big brands have rushed in, and they're spinning products like, hey, this was your favorite gin, now it's your favorite gin without alcohol. Hey, this was your favorite rum, but it's your rum without alcohol. And if you've been drinking those products all your life, or that was your special something, and then you go to have the replica, it's never going to be as good, is it? Because it's a mimic. It's a second alternative. But a product like Ferragaya, I'm coming in saying, hey, this I've put all my craft, dedication, energy, investment, and time with some of the best minds in the industry to create a product which has got the most intense, lovely, aromatic flavors for you to enjoy at this wedding instead of or alongside your friends drinking alcohol. And so I think there's a little bit of suspicion from the general market as to, oh, this is a big company. They're doing something clever behind the scenes. We don't know how it's made. We don't know what's in it. It's a lesser flavor G&T, and therefore I'm just going to give them elderflower or Coca-Cola Zero, etc. But we gotta get more of these people who are making these menus, and more strong-minded young ladies like yourself, Elizabeth, to grab that bottle of Ferragaya or that product which speaks to you in that moment and says, "Hey, just chuck a bottle behind the bar, and when I come up, add some ginger beer and give me a non-alcoholic mule," for example. But um, ultimately, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of noise, and over time, the brands which really connect with customers will break away from the pack, and I hope Ferragaya is one of them.
I hope it is too, because I do think that I love you just said a frozen, not a frozen, but you just said to have oh my gosh, what did you just say? Because I never drank them when they were
I said, look, if it's a busy environment and the bar team is young and all working for the day, they're going to have Moscow mules on offer. So say,
that's
hey,
it.
take out the take out the vodka or whiskey or bourbon and put Ferragaya and add a bit of mint and lime. Personally, I imagine you come across as a confident lady, so you won't be worried about people thinking you're drinking something different. But if there's that placebo effect that when someone's doing a toast or everyone's drinking cocktails, you've got a nice, sexy looking drink in your hand, which actually between you and me, Elizabeth, has got actually probably a lot more craft that's gone into it than your standard well white spirit. Because to create a product which has flavor intensity, zero sugar, zero alcohol, and I mean 0.0% alcohol, but 4 years shelf life takes a phenomenal amount of craft. And I've worked with a lot of the white and dark spirits across the spirits industry. They've been going for so long now. They're so streamlined. They're so efficient. The days of that sort of pot still up in the glens of Scotland or the islands of the Dominican or the hills of Poland. These big companies that are so efficient now. Not a huge amount of craft goes into it when they're doing millions and millions and millions of liters a year. But this category is so young. Our biggest challenge, I think, is um, scaling up, because taking a hell of a lot of craft to get where we are now. And I'm excited to see how that craft evolve into getting this product into the hands of customers across the rest of the world beyond just North America and Europe.
Well, I have so many questions from that just then. I want to go back and say, for one, I've never had a real Moscow Mule that has alcohol in it, obviously, because they weren't making those like 20 years ago. But today,
Yeah.
people are definitely more refined when it comes to what they're going to put into their body. People are more cognitive, right? They have this app, Yuka, for instance, so you can go and put it on a label and say, is this good for me? Is it not good for me? And I think having this alternative it's like a game changer. For me, I believe that, because not having any options really for a long time makes you feel like you have a scarlet letter or something. Cause you're like, wait a minute, I don't count anymore. I don't drink. So you don't care about me. Okay, great. So all you really wanted from me was my alcoholic self that's out there getting buzzed. No, we want to have options. I think this is so brilliant. I love it. I mean, I normally only drink water, just to be totally upfront. But having one
Yeah.
Moscow Mule every once in a while and have that option with something that tastes really good is so important. And you mentioned that you said that if you were to have the real gin and this alternative might not be the same, but who wants the same all the time? We want to have choices. How did you come up with the recipe? Did you do it by yourself, or did you have a bunch of people helping you?
Just quickly jump back 1 second about the excitement behind a mimic and something different. For me, it's the equivalent of, say, when the first electric cars came out, and uh, a lot of them were hybrid. They sort of, you felt you were sitting in something which wasn't as cool and fun as that combustive engine, dirt, little motor car even whizzing around you in your 20s. But then Tesla came out with this sports car, which was faster, cooler, better than a lot of the sports cars which had internal combustion engines. Suddenly everyone was like, oh, I want a Tesla. And they didn't even say, oh, I want an electric vehicle. And that for me is what I'm trying to do with Feragaia is that, hey, just have a nice drink. If the alcohol important, well, not in that moment. So who cares? So it's trying to bring that energy of like, look, we're confident, take away that fear away and just jump in and enjoy it. And just one more thing we said about the people are more refined about what they put in their bodies. And we've gone through a lot of hard work to make your lives very easy. You only need ice, glass, a mixer, and a garnish, and you've got a very complex drink. You don't need to bring a little box of syrups and additives and additions and this and that. We've done that for you. So that's again part of the thing. So don't stress the room, don't stress yourself out. We've done the hard work for you and enjoy. But to jump forward again, how did we come with the recipe? So, my whole career was actually in the selling side of things. And whilst I rehearsed, the key sales points behind very premium spirit products, I did notice one thing, which was distillation was the key part. Distillation was really where a lot of brands put their USPs behind. Was it the tallest stills in Scotland? Was it the stills that had the biggest surface area? Was it copper? Was it small? Was it, all these different stills? And, again, this I don't want to offend anyone in the liquor industry, but a still is, if you're to explain it to the Flintstones, it's a giant kettle, and you're you're evaporating, and what comes across is flavor, essentially. So I was one of those moments when my naivety actually helped me, because I asked the question, well, what happens if you distill without alcohol? What happens? If I put flowers in my kettle, and you can smell flavors coming off it. So clearly something's been extracted in that process. So I worked with a very craft distillery in the hills of South Scotland for about 6 months on this recipe I developed with this lab. And sure, the first attempt was terrible, but two things: it tasted very strong, and like incredibly strong, way too strong. But it was distilled. It had no sugar, it had no alcohol, and it had shelf life. So we knew we were on something, and all we had to do was find the balance. And it wasn't easy because you can't do a test. It's like the test equipment's about 1 liter big, and then the reality is 1,000 liters, and that's like cooking broccoli for 10 minutes on the stove and cooking broccoli for 10 hours in a cauldron. I mean, it's going to taste very different. So we had to just late nights. I mean, and the final recipe was, I hate to say it, but a little bit of luck, because I was running out of time. My launch was in 2 weeks. I had to come up with a liquid. I run out of ingredients. My budget was stretched, and it was one of those moments where you just keep trying, and eventually the universe sometimes the universe throws you a bone. And this was a moment where we landed on a beautiful recipe, which, yeah, totally steam distilled using beautiful 1,000 liter pots distillation processes, copper in columns, and a product which was unique to us. So here we are 5 years later with the same product, now selling it across sort of, two of the biggest markets in the world. So it's exciting.
It's really exciting. Now I have to ask you a big question. Are they serving
Yeah.
it at the University of Alabama?
They have it in one bar. My friend, I'll give him a shout out. Frank Fleming runs the best pizza joint in Tuscaloosa, Heat Pizza. He has some bottles behind the bar, and I need to give him a shout because he should be reordering. So, but yeah,
But you
No, the
would think
University of
you'd be
Alabama
all
University.
over. You'd think you
Yeah, but
would be
again, look, the
all over
University of
Tuscaloosa.
I know. And I'm convinced what is missing is and this is the thing, we don't write rules. You know, we're not a product which comes in slamming how people will live and eat and act. But what we do is offer something a little bit more. And I would love to develop a sort of low and no option for game day, you know, because, you know, I'm sure if you've had the luck of gracing an SEC college during football season, drinking starts on Thursday and finishes on Sunday night. So if you can provide some hydration on Saturday before the game or during the game, and then you know no one needs to know. Just chuck a little Feragaia in and reduce that Polish vodka you're adding, and then enjoy yourself. So yeah, but University of Alabama, the alumni magazine did an 8-page write up on me 2 Christmases ago. So in terms of supporting their alum, I can't fault them. Great school.
Because I think having the young people, because you think about it, when people get to college, that's the first time they're like out of their away from their parents. And that's when kids go big, right? They go big. And sometimes they get there and they're like, wait a minute, I'm drinking too much. I need a different option. And this would be such a game changer at every big school, Penn State, Notre Dame. I mean, I could go on and on, USC. There's so many places where kids are going and they're in fraternity houses and sorority houses. And you would think that all those places just need to have this option because having an option that still looks pretty, because I'm about the aesthetics. Let's face it, I'm a girly girl. I want something to look pretty in a glass. I've always had my drinks, even no matter where I go. I'm always like, can you put that in a wine glass? And sometimes the waiter or waitress looks at me, they're like, you're ordering water and you want to put it in a glass. Well, it is Pellegrino, but still, they're like, you want it in a wine glass? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
All Most people want something that looks pretty and they don't want to have to say, oh, I'm not drinking right now, because that will be at the bar as an option. Because sometimes you go to some restaurants and they give you a dirty look, but you should even have this option on an airplane.
Yeah, we're talking to some airlines right now because I do one-off mini bottles, which we hand do them. So I'm wary about how much I tell that to people, but um, we are looking at developing the 5CL product because yeah, it's such a for me every time I have a glass of Ferragamo, it's such a moment, it's such a you know, some people say it tastes like the Scottish countryside in a glass. Other people say it reminds them of their favorite holiday they had in the Middle East. You know, it's got spice, herbalness, earthiness. And so to be able to break a bottle down into say 14 mini experiences and have them enjoyed around the world is definitely something we're looking to do in the long run. But the yeah, I agree. There's no denying younger people are drinking less. There's no denying. And you know, if I'm in a sort of cheesy mood and someone says, "Who's your market?" I say, "Well, 7.5 billion people on my market because at one point in the day you're going to have a non-alcoholic drink. So premiumize it. Instead of a glass of water at 6 o'clock, have a Ferragamo tonic in a wine glass, call it a spritz." So for me, the opportunity is everywhere. It's just about uh, zeroing in on who wants it now and who's going to move the dial for us to get the product and the word and the name and the enjoyment out there. Because as I said, there's just opportunity everywhere right now, and it's crazy. It's a good feeling, but it's where do you focus? I guess it's a challenge.
I think it would be a challenge because it is so big. It's like you're in the candy store and you're like, oh my gosh, I could go over here. I could go over here. I've got all the international airlines. I've got I can do little baby airlines like Ryanair over there. I mean, there's so many options out there for you. So tell me, how are you balancing your life with all of this, with running this huge company and getting it off the ground? How's your personal life?
I'd have to quickly look up on the dictionary what that word balance means, because the word balance has been binned a long time ago in my life. No, for me, I built this company from my hometown. And so for me, I'm in Scotland every 50% of my time, say on average. And so half my time I'm at home, I'm on my farm, I'm in my distillery, and that's a very wellness, happy place for me. And I'm with my friends and family, I'm with people in my hometown, it's nice. And that's ultimately, I think, to break it really down, is when you have a food and drink product, you should know exactly where it's from. You should know who makes it. And I love that. It just gives me so much energy and it gives me so much warmth knowing that when it's raining outside and we're picking leaves, when we're working on the weekend distilling, we're bringing a net positive product to society, which is going to be enjoyed by people who not only want it, but maybe need it. And that just gives me such good energy as a person that I don't have that burnout feeling because ultimately, for thousands of years we're workers. We work in Scotland, especially. I'm very inspired by what Scotland's impact is on the global economy, whether it's Adam Smith, Andrew Carnegie, Alexander Bell, John Muir. Our impact on the world is huge, and I get a lot of good energy and good um, impact, I think, on my life, just knowing I'm part of that. And when in America, America's got crazy energy. America's just got crazy energy, and the people in America are so great, and the ambition people have, and the optimism people have, and the media just looking to sell headlines sometimes. I think actually, if you go into these countries like the United Kingdom, America, there's good people everywhere, and I feed off good people. I feed off good people's ideas and energy, and so for me, balance at this age of 33, I'm happy for it to be balanced towards that work because I know my work is something I'm passionate about, and I'm happy to have that dominating my life right now. And I've got great friends and family around me as well. So I'm not, I feel I'm just on the edge of the right side of the mountain, let's say.
Oh my gosh, I can tell how proud you are of it.
Thank you. I am proud of it. Yeah, I'm proud of it because I know who's the people that go in the hands and the hard work that goes into it from the sort of people that are just good people, and they're applying their best craft to it, and it's enjoyed by some of the best people in the food and drink industry globally. So there's a long way to go, but the journey has been very rewarding to date. Because we've never compromised. There's been pressures to compromise, to dumb down the product, to just look at what the competitors are doing and jump on that train. But we've always stuck to our guns. We know what we do best, and we're doing it to the best of our abilities. And you can see, because of that persistence in making the best of what we can, you can see more and more people coming over to us and hanging their hat on our train because they know that we're bringing to market a very high quality product, which it is what it says, And I think that's what people want in this world. They're tired of being lied to and being misled and being deceived. And trends are tiring. I mean, it's exhausting jumping into loving a brand for 3 months, jumping into another brand, loving it for 3 months. I think a lot of people just want to put their feet up and reflect after what's been a pretty grueling, I want to say decade, but probably only 3 years. And so Feragaia, I hope, just brings that consistency and stability and reliability that people want in a nice product.
Well, I want to buy some. So tell me this, how much does it cost and where can I buy it?
So it costs about off in America, which I'm always looking to bring it down to make it more friendly. But at the moment, it's about $39.99, and that's a 700 ml bottle. So you should get about 15 drinks out of that bottle. So broken down, it's actually quite good. Good value for what you're getting as a luxury import. And then we're launching on Amazon right now in America, and that just allows us to make sure that whether you're in Nebraska or San Diego or South Florida, you can access it and you can enjoy it with friends and family, and also not spend too long sort of looking around for it. So yeah, Amazon's probably the easiest place to find it now, but we got some lovely independent retailers online. The Scottish Grocer, Roof No More, Boss On. So yeah, have a look online, and if you're in Texas, there's some good grocery chains around. You can find it there in New York. So yeah, but feel free to reach out if none of those options satisfy you. Just contact the Feragaia Instagram, and it's me working 24/7. So I'll be there. If you want a bottle, I'll be there. If you got a question about anything else, it might take a little longer for me to reply. But yeah.
Well, I love that. And I think we're going to have, because it just launched today on Amazon, didn't it?
It did, yeah, it did. So we're very excited. And it's such a net positive product on society in the sense of if you're drinking Feragaia, you're not drinking alcohol, and therefore, what are you not doing, that day, which you might have been doing, and it's Feragaia is bringing you that that good moment to your day and that good moment for your friends and family. So very excited to be launching on Amazon. Yeah.
So will you give me the link for Amazon that I can have in the description? So anybody has to do is go click and it goes right into their basket on Amazon and it can be delivered right to their house.
I will do that. Yeah. After this call, Elizabeth, I will send you that link.
Perfect. So you guys, if you want this, just go to my description, click the link, and it will take you right to Feragaia. I said it right, right? Feragaia. And
You did. Like, yeah.
it's been such a pleasure. I love seeing you're an artist in a way, right? Because you're designing something that's so incredible for everybody. And doesn't matter who you are. And I think that having alcohol or not having alcohol is it's a big thing because the alcohol has hurt a lot of people and a lot of families. And I want people to I love to hear about options for people today. I mean, this is like a game changer for people out there. They love this. They love to have something that's different. And I want a bottle. You got to send me a bottle.
Yeah, I'll send. Don't you worry about buying one. I'll send you one. You can
Okay.
tell me if it arrived okay and in suitable packaging. But yeah, look, I just ultimately, it's amazing. Everyone eats and drinks, but almost everyone in the world has a food or a drink item which for them brings them happiness. Um, Chocolate, seafood, steak, whatever it is, and the not drinking part of the world is something we've all been playing with since we were children. You know, everyone is an expert when it comes to non-alcoholic drink because we can mix cordials, we can do cold brew teas. There's no barrier to entry when it comes to making a non-alcoholic drink. But what I'm trying to do is say, look, there is actually craft in this process. So next time you want to treat yourself to a nice non-alcoholic drink, or you got your friends over for dinner, or you're watching a movie and you're feeling a little something different, actually just have a try and see what we've got up to in Scotland, a country famed for innovation. And it might not be to your flavor, but I guarantee it is to some people's, and to those people they're going to love it because it's a very special taste. It's unique. I would challenge anyone to tell me exactly what it tastes like because no one in the world has ever been able to put it into one sentence accurately because it's totally new flavors. And to create a new flavor in 2020 or 2019 is probably one of my greatest achievements because everything tastes like something. And we've created something which tastes totally new. And that's why it's taken us a little longer to catch up with the rest of the wave, considering we were one of the first five in the world in this market. But I think the really good products do take time to scale up, and you learn your market, you learn your process. We've improved the recipe endlessly for 5 years, always tweaking, always improving. Um, but you confidently know when you have a glass of it, you're having the very best of what we do anyway there in East Scotland, delivered to your bottle, your house around the world. So I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to hear your feedback.
I can't wait to try it because I can tell you this, the food over in Europe tastes a lot better than the food here. Okay, so knowing that it's actually made in Scotland, it's not made here with our water that they say is clean or it's filtered and all the rest of it. Knowing that it's from that beautiful Atlantic Ocean right off the coast of Scotland is kind of amazing.
Yeah, and actually, Elizabeth, just last thing, if you look at the map of Scotland where we're based, just 5 miles south of us is the world's biggest grain distillery, where they make millions and millions and millions of bottles of white spirit and dark spirit every year. And then 5 miles to the north of us is the world's first proven whiskey distillery. So we are in the sort of homeland of craft distillation, which dates back to the 1400s. There's this sort of new kid on the block who is just, we're doing things a little different. And we're excited to, every day a new person tries it and every day a new person sends it on to someone else. So I really try to build a legacy product here, which ultimately just people can put on the top shelf of every bar or in their home and know that when called upon, they've got one of the best options in the category for that person who wants it at that moment. And yeah, no rules, only enjoyment, and let us do the hard work. Be my parting message.
Well, I absolutely love it. It sounds amazing. Now, one last question. Does it have to be refrigerated?
Absolutely not. No, it's bulletproof in that sense. Chuck it on your bar, see, find if you've got someone else in your house who might drink alcohol. I'll tell you what to do is to put it next to one of their most expensive bottles, and ask someone who's totally impartial which bottle looks more premium. But that's maybe me bias. That's like, I'm like, I want my kid to play quarterback at school, So put him in, coach. So, but I think from the bottle, the certified, very sustainable. And I think we tick all the important boxes, but we bring that fun, we bring that excitement. We're a couple used to be young guys just trying to make our mark, but through very high quality options in a world of confusion. So hopefully through this podcast, people trust me and they go pick up a bottle and they don't look back. And because I've been drinking it every 3 or 4 times a week for 5, 6 years now. It's amazing. The flavors just don't get boring. And in the winter, I drink it in a whiskey-based cocktails, a mule, a penicillin, and in the summer, I'm making myself a mean non-alcoholic margarita or Paloma. It's like having 2 different products on my bar. So as I said, yeah, we've done the hard work, so you can put your feet up after a long week, long day, get the bottle out and enjoy. So yeah, go have fun, and we'll keep making it in Scotland. And if you come to St Andrews to play golf, we'll go visit some castles, we'll go to Edinburgh for the festival. Jump on a train, we'll come pick you up. Well, maybe come pick you up, depending on the day. And we'll give you a personal tour of the distillery, because it's it's our little space, and we built everything ourselves from hand, and it's amazing how far it's gone. Whether it's 2 menu placements in Madison Park in New York, or the Ritz in Boston, or from the best Mexican restaurants in Texas. Yeah, we're excited to see how far it might go.
I'm so excited to watch you. And I'm going to do that with my son because he does drink whiskey and he has all this fancy stuff. So I'm going to be like, here, we're going to try these 2 and see what you think. I'll let you know when I do it. Maybe I'll record it and send it to you. It's been such a pleasure.
Please do, yeah. Maybe do it a hidden camera.
Yeah.
And then if it's good, put it online. If it's bad, delete it. But yeah.
Okay. Definitely, I will. It has been such a pleasure to get to know you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Now, if you guys are out there listening and you like today's show, please subscribe to my channel and please forward this to all your friends. And if you go to my website, busylivingsober.com, sign up for my newsletter. It comes out every Friday. And it's been, again, such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Bill. Take care.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and have a wonderful rest of summer. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.
I hope so too. And to everybody out there, keep getting busy, living. Bye, everybody. Take care.